This was me when I started my speaking practice.
Je ne suis pas très content à parler en français aujourd'hui parce que
This was just 4 months into my French learning journey. After 7 months, this was me about a month before TEF Canada exam.
Bonjour à tous, j'espère que vous allez bien. Aujourd'hui, je vais vous parler de mon progrès d'apprendre la langue française, surtout comment j'ai pratiqué l'expression orale parce que c'était très difficile.
And after attempting the TEF Canada, I got C1 level in speaking. How was it possible? Well, if you don't know, I used to live in Barrie, Ontario, which is not really a francophone community, or there are not enough francophones or not francophones with whom we can speak on regular basis to practice our speaking. So the question is, how was I able to do it? Well, in today's video, I really want to burst this myth on do you really need a speaking partner, or do you really need someone with whom you can talk French on regular basis to be able to improve your language? Because see, I was someone who worked on my language all by myself. I want to be clear, definitely I took TEF Canada specific exam preparation help around at the end of my journey, around 2 to 3 months before the exam. I was taking that help, but that was about once every 7 to 10 days. Okay, I was not practicing my speaking with someone on regular basis. It was all a self-taught practice. How was that possible? Okay, so we are going to burst this myth today that you don't really need a specific trainer to be able to practice with you on regular basis. Firstly, it is very draining in terms of your in terms of your budget, and secondly, this is not a very efficient approach when it comes to learning the language. See, most of the language is improved when you are practicing at home by yourself without anyone. Today I'm going to explain in detail on how I used to do it, on how I used to practice my speaking, and how I teach my students so that they do not become dependent on someone else to practice their speaking, so that they're able to improve their speaking while they're at home with a proper methodology and learning techniques. So let's go to the PC. What I want to show you, if you go back to my if you go to my channel, you will see over here we have this option, and if you go to the option oldest, this was the first video ever that I uploaded, which was around A2 level in French. And if I quickly play it for you, this is how I sound when I just started my speaking practice, about 3 to 4 months of training my French.
Chez vous et aujourd'hui, si vous m'écoutez, je vais vous parler de quelques activités à faire en hiver ou à faire en...
You see over here what I did, I picked a particular topic and I prepared a script on it. Okay, and I wrote what I want to speak, and I kind of memorized it. I kind of learned the whole paragraph, and then I spoke it into the camera. Through this technique, what started happening is that I was able to go back to my recording, I was able to go back to my video and see where I was getting stuck, what were the phrases that were not flowing out of my brain, and what were the sentences I was not able to formulate without looking into my script. And I used to memorize them and train them properly to build a base level of phrase vocabulary in my brain. See, what will happen is, if you are around A2 level and if you are just starting the speaking journey, obviously it will be very difficult for you to formulate all the sentences. You will get stuck a lot, there will be a lot of big pauses, but at that point it's very important to record yourself, just as I recorded myself. The main reason why I record myself was because I wanted to see what were the points where I felt I went stuck, and what were the wrong phrases or wrong vocabulary or wrong grammatical rules that I was using, so that I can go back and correct myself and then repeat those practices multiple number of times. See, when it comes to language learning, specifically when it comes to speaking, we really get frustrated when it comes to speaking. Why words are not flowing out of my mouth, like why I'm not able to say what I want to say in French but not in English. Okay, there will be a lot of direct English to French translation when we are learning. I would like to eat, je voudrais. Okay, this stuff happens a lot, but that takes time. Okay, for that to go away, it takes time, and it is very important for us to be patient about it. One way of getting better in speaking is, first of all, recording yourself and doing it on regular basis. I have an example of one of my students. His name is Bhavya.
Bonjour à tous, j'espère que vous allez bien. Et je vais vous donner quelque chose qui Vous allez améliorer votre apprentissage la langue.
Okay, he started at level A1 and he did A1 and A2 in about 2 months. Okay, he never spoke at A1 A2, he never spoke, but once he was on B1, we started his speaking practice and we saw that just when he started speaking, he was able to formulate the sentences. Why? Because firstly, you really need to build that A1, A2 level grammar in your brain to be able to get better, to be able to be familiar in the language. You don't have enough experience with the language, you don't have running vocabulary in your mind to be able to say anything. That's why, once you have done all the grammar, that's when you should start speaking the way I am recommending. What we do in our speaking practices with students is that they are supposed to practice by themselves like this on regular basis, and then there are sessions. We have a continuous weekly sessions through which we do analysis, that where are they lacking, what are the things they need to work on and stuff like that. If you were to do this one by one with someone, or if you were to take regular sessions with someone, well, first of all, it would be very pocket draining, like economically this would not be feasible option for you. You would have to pay someone per hour like $30-40 on regular basis to be able to do your speaking practice, and secondly, it's not really efficient. The most efficiency in speaking practice is that you are practicing by yourself at home, so that you are able to see where you are lacking and what are the things you need to work on, and then that is how you build up the flow of the speaking. Okay, now let's go back to my YouTube channel where I will show you how my speaking was just about 40-50 days or about a month before the exam. So yeah, if you go back to the oldest, if you scroll down, this is where I was preparing for exam. It was about 30 days before my TEF Canada.
Bonjour à tous, j'espère que vous allez bien, et aujourd'hui je vais partager avec vous mon approche d'apprendre la langue française. Et avant de commencer, je vais vous clarifier le point.
Okay, so over here you are able to see that I don't need to think about things a lot, or I don't have to think in first in English and then in French. Okay, I was directly thinking in French, and I was able to formulate the sentences, and I was able to express the way I wanted to. And why it is possible? It's only possible because I was practicing regularly. I was practicing the speaking regularly, but on my own, through self-study. And that's very important. We often ignore that how much self-study takes to be able to get better in a language, whether it be listening, whether it be reading. Well, listening and reading are all self-study. We can't really do anything else in that. Like, your trainer or me, I can't tell you, how it should be read, how it should be listened. We just have to build up that practice on a regular basis. But specifically when it comes to writing and speaking, we feel like we need a regular input. We need a regular exchange of language with anyone. That is not true. That is the best case scenario if you live in France or if you live in Montreal and if you work at a place where francophones are available. But if not, if you are someone like me who lived in a non-francophone community in Ontario, then this is the best way. Okay, and this is the proof I'm showing to you, not only me, but Bhavya as well, and Harleen as well, and Darshan, a lot of students who have been doing the same, following the same pathway, and they have been able to improve their speaking from around A2 level to B2 plus level in about 6 to 7 months. Okay, so this is tried and tested. What I recommend you is to be patient about it, be independent about it. Even if you would like to take my coaching, the coaching is not a spoon feeding. Okay, you really have to understand, because the way Alliance Francaise and the other institute works is very, very different. It's not an intensive approach. It's an approach that works over 2.5 to 3 years, but not something that works in 10 to 12 months. So that is what I recommend, and make sure to continue this practice regularly. And definitely when you are a beginner, you will get frustrated a lot around A2 B1 level. When you're doing such practices, you will be like, oh, I'm not able to formulate anything. Like you picked particular topic, for example the library, and then you spoke on it, but you were not able to speak anything, which is fine. Your brain, it will take time for your brain to adjust to the French language. You will have to push your brain a lot to be able to formulate sentences. Make sure to use reverso, make sure to take help of your notes. The goal is to learn the language. Okay, it's not a rule. And please do not worry about grammar when you are speaking. When you worry about grammar, our brain stops thinking in French and starts analyzing in French. Okay, when we are speaking and we worry about our corrections or mistakes, it is a natural tendency to be slow while we speak. Okay, but please ignore grammar. Your grammar can be worked on when you are rewatching your recording, but we don't have to worry about grammar while you are actually speaking. Try to speak whatever you can, whatever comes in your brain to convey your message, and after you have recorded yourself, then you will be able to see what was the mistake. Okay, 90% of the problems will be solved over there. So I hope this will help you, and if you would like to learn French for TEF TCF Canada, you can reach out to me. We do follow a very specific approach, and the approach that I used, the approach which is more intensive and specifically focused on TEF TCF Canada exams. So if you would like to save your valuable time on your work or study permit, reach out to me or click the link in the description to know more details, and I'll see you in the next one.